I'm Lynn Bennion. I am running to represent House District 46 in the Utah House of Representatives. Let me tell you about me and why I'm running for this office. I grew up in Holiday. I graduated from Skyline High School. I graduated from BYU with a degree in English. When I made the decision to marry my husband Jim, I signed up for a life of adventure as he was serving in the Air Force. We moved around the country. And 15 years after our marriage began, we were living in Ohio with our 4 children. And 9/11 happened, and my husband was called up to serve and deployed to the Middle East. I was left home with our children, taking care of them, but my heart was torn because I knew this was a war that would be costly in terms of money and lives and not make a great improvement for our country or for the world. I can remember one day being on a hill with our kids, helping them sled, and my body was there, but I wanted to be on a street corner with a sign in protest of that war. So my passion to make a positive change in our world was born. 12 years later, we were back in Utah, this land that I never wanted to leave, near our parents, our siblings, and these beautiful mountains. And we were coming home from a trip in the winter, and as the plane came down through that nasty inversion, that soupy air, I thought of our youngest son, a runner with asthma, breathing that air. And I thought of my nieces and nephews growing up in that air that cuts our lives by 2 years on average, and is the number one reason that businesses want to leave our state. And again, I had that passion come in me, that I want to make things better for those around me. So I was really fortunate that I found a bipartisan group working for the best legislation for Utah. And I joined that group and began attending our legislative sessions. That's 7 years ago. So for 7 years, I've been learning about legislation in our state, pros and cons of certain bills, and I stepped up to be the leader of the Natural Resources Committee. I learned about everything from the plight of wild horses in our state to the push to bring the lands back from the feds. And now I am the leader of the Education Committee in this wonderful group, Women's State Legislative Council. Because we were watching legislation in 2019, I saw there comes the tax reform 9 days before the end of the session, without much time for debate or discussion. This is how our legislature works too often because we don't have enough voices of other than a supermajority. So citizens mobilized quickly to fight that tax reform, and it did not pass. But rather than listen to our constituents, leadership pushed through and had town halls all summer to explain why they need this tax reform. This tax reform included a huge increase in our tax on food, taxes to specific services that did not have the ability to pay for lobbyists at the legislature, and it had no funding for education. Because of these things, I testified against the tax reform. They passed it anyway, in spite of many of us testifying in opposition. And we all worked and gathered signatures and pushed back and ended that tax reform. In February, because I'm involved, I had a friend approach me and say, "Have you thought about running for state school board?" And I was happy in the work I was doing for the legislature. I was happy volunteering teaching English to immigrants and refugees, which I've done for 5 years and I love. And I did not do that. Then in March, Marie Polson announced that she would not be running for this seat. And again, my constituents in my district approached me and said, "Please run for this office." So here I am. I am running to represent you and serve you in our legislature because I care about you. I care about the members of our district, a very wide district with covers parts of 6 cities with a range of income and abilities. And I care about the beautiful lands. I want clean air for us. And I care about public education. It is the foundation that we need to understand one another and to understand this complex, fragile, natural world that we live in. So I am here to serve you. I work well with a wide range of people. I've been able to gather an amazing campaign team and get the financing donations that we need. I care about you and this natural world, and I want to invite you to go to gaylynbennion.com to learn more about me. I would be honored to have your support and your vote. Thank you.